Ahead of every national holiday, the president's speech is usually ferried to the length and breadth of the republic, just so that every provincial administration officer tasked with the responsibility to read the speech to citizens in their areas of jurisdiction gets a copy.
Kulaumu serikali in blanket form.
It's now going to 51 years since Kenya attained independence, and a tender calling for providers of those services that were critical 5 decades ago is on a 2014 newspaper. Never mind, this is the communication era, where the world is now best described as a global village due to major developments in information and communication technology.
It is a tradition that has been there since the beginning of government in Kenya, where when the president was giving a speech on national days, what would be the tradition was that the speech has to be read simultaneously in the provincial and district headquarters, and some districts do not have proper road networks or other networks, the systems of communicating or passing the same message to them. So what will be done is that the speech should be airlifted from Nairobi, government printers, and taken to Rodua, Northeastern, Garissa, and such places where communication was a problem.
The president having himself made it a tradition to help ordinary citizens access his speeches on various social media platforms. This notice calling for interested bidders to buy the tender at 500,000 shillings therefore came as a shock to many Kenyans. Those in the business of chartering flights say it costs 144,000 for every flight hour. It takes 8 hours to fly to and from the Wilson Airport to Mandera. A successful bidder would need at least 1.2 million shillings to deliver the speeches in the northeastern town. To go to Turkana, situated on the northwestern tip of the country, the same bidder chartering a 7-hour flight to and from the Wilson Airport would spend another 1 million shillings. Millions more would be spent to reach all the far-flung areas of the nation just to ferry the president's speech.
After this advert was done, I went and consulted with the minister, and he said that actually in this day and age, it isn't necessary to use the old ways of doing things, and he has decided that the tender is going to be cancelled.
The same tender notice is also seeking for the pre-qualification for service and maintenance of, among other equipment, the typewriter, a machine that was largely displaced in the 1980s by computers.
Typewriters have been used, mainly the offices that use typewriters are the ones that are filling forms. Like, for instance, register of birth and death, they have forms that have to be filled systematically. They are printed forms that have to be filled. And those things, even you go to lawyers, also where they are filling forms, they are typewriters for that purpose. You can't do, there are certain things you can't do with a computer until somebody comes up with a computer that can do those things. So those are the offices that are still using that system.
The documents, Njoka explained, include title deeds, birth and death certificates. Before the cancellation of the controversial tender, Kenyans were at a loss on how to reconcile such tough austerity measures.
Mambo ya hospitality, kwa mambo ya kutangatanga, mambo ya travel, sisi tumesema mwaka huu tutabadilisha vile pesa ya umma inatumika.
Pay cuts with the costly airlift of presidential speeches and other office frills such as fresh flowers. Sylvia Chebet for Citizen Business Center.